Hi friends, thank you for tuning in to the Concussion Coach podcast. I'm Bethany Lewis, the Concussion Coach. I'm a neurological occupational therapist and certified life coach, and I specialize in guiding people through their concussion recovery journey. I am passionate about helping people understand their injury, speed up their recovery, and reclaim control over their life post-concussion. The purpose of this podcast is to help increase awareness of concussions and the impact they can have on a person's life, and to bring hope to people who have suffered a concussion and those who love them. I firmly believe that sharing stories and knowledge about concussions will bring important light and understanding to this misunderstood and often invisible injury. The information in this podcast is meant to bring that awareness and hope and is not meant as medical advice. The opinions shared are those of the interviewees and my own. If you are suffering with lingering concussion symptoms, I have created a concussion coaching program specifically for you. I will be your mentor to guide you through your recovery journey, offering help with understanding and managing your symptoms, setting achievable goals, and learning how to manage your own thoughts and nervous system in order to get control over your life again. If this program sounds like something that would help you or someone you love, sign up for a free consultation. In the consultation, you'll get valuable information and resources and gain hope for your future. Sign up for your free consultation at the link in the show notes or at my website, www.theconcussioncoach.com. Hi friends, welcome back to the Concussion Coach podcast. I'm so excited for this episode because I'm going to share some truth bombs that will hopefully rock your world and blow your mind with increased awareness. That's pretty much how I felt when I first heard these concepts. I am actually currently in Dallas, Texas at the Life Coach School Mastermind event. It's been really fun connecting with old friends and meeting new ones here at the event. And the topic of the conference is feeling harder. We're being reminded again about the importance of our feelings and the power that we have over our lives when we are willing to feel any feeling. Brooke Castillo of the Life Coach School is a brilliant teacher, and many of the ideas I'm going to share with you today are ones that I learned from her. Understanding them has been transformative in my life, and if you want to hear Brooke's teaching, check out her podcast. It's called the Life Coach School Podcast. Anyway, all this talk of feelings has inspired me to share with you a concept that I feel is extremely important, impacts every single human, and yet is very rarely discussed or taught. This topic is what to do with negative emotions. There are generally 4 ways that we tend to respond when we feel something negative, and 3 of them are less than helpful, and 1 is actually the key to emotional well-being. The less than helpful ways that we humans tend to respond when negative emotions come up are to react to them, resist them, or avoid them. So let's break those down before we dive into the strategy that works best. So reacting. This happens when we act out on our negative emotions. It can look like punching a wall when we're angry or yelling at our kids when we're frustrated. Reacting may provide an outlet for relief from the emotion, but it is not a healthy or connecting way to process it and is generally not how we want to show up in our lives. Another thing that we tend to do when negative emotions arise is to resist them. We don't want to feel them or deal with them, so we push them away. It's kind of like the negative emotion is a beach ball and we're shoving it down as hard as we can under the water. When we're resisting like this, it takes both hands and a lot of energy to keep that ball under the water, and we all know what happens eventually. That beach ball will shoot up out of the water and smack us in the face with a ton of force. So resistance just wastes our energy, reduces our capacity, and is not the answer. The third way that I want to mention that we tend to try when we experience negative emotions is to avoid it. We think that pretending it's not there or distracting ourselves so we don't think about it will magically make it go away. Guess what? That doesn't work. No matter how many cookies we eat or shows we watch or drinks we take or whatever our buffer of choice is, it will never be enough to get rid of the underlying emotion that we are trying so desperately to ignore or avoid. Okay, so what is the key to managing and handling and processing negative emotion? What can we do to make it better? You're going to love this. It's to get good at feeling negative emotion. It's allowing emotions to be there as long as they need to be and not trying to push them away or act out on them or avoid feeling them. Did you know that you can feel anger and not act out on it? And I don't just mean like clench your teeth and tense your way through it. I mean, you can sit on a chair and just feel that emotion. It's a vibration in your body, and you can let it course through your body, breathing and processing and not exploding. Emotions come from thoughts in our heads that trigger the release of chemicals into our bodies. Those chemicals need to be processed in our bodies in order for them to dissipate. So the way to process and allow emotions is to go out of our head and into our body. So the first step to allowing and processing an emotion is to name it. Recognize it for what it is and cognitively acknowledge it. I'm feeling disappointed. This is frustration, etc. Next, we go from our head into our body. Now, some of you might think this part is kind of weird, but please stay with me. I promise you this is powerful and effective. You want to find where in your body you are experiencing this emotion and lean into it. Breathe into it. Recognize where that tension is and just feel it. It can be helpful to try describing the emotion in physical terms, like it's a tightness in my chest. It has a swirling motion and is dark blue in color and feels icy cold. If we can give it those physical attributes, it helps it to become more real and helps with that processing. Try describing what this emotion feels like in your body as if you were telling an alien who had never experienced human emotions before. Describe it, lean into it, breathe into it, let it be there, and it will disappear. It's kind of magical. I've had this happen multiple times when I've coached others and myself. When we allow the emotion and take the time to acknowledge and describe it, it dissipates to the point where we can't describe it anymore because it's just not there. Now, this doesn't mean that the emotion won't come back again, but then you get to practice feeling it in your body again, and the better you get at this practice, the less it will distress you when it comes. It's like that beach ball analogy. If you're willing to let that emotion beach ball just float next to you in the water, if you're not obsessed with pushing it away or running away from it, it will just float along and eventually drift off. Waves may bring it back to you, but you'll be fine with it because you know it's not a big, scary thing. It's just an emotion that wants you to acknowledge it. Sometimes I like to think of emotions as a character, like in the Disney movie Inside Out. You can give it a name and an image and get familiar with it. Hi, rage, welcome back again. Or, hi, anxiety, you're welcome to hang out with me as long as you need to, but I've got to run to the store, so you're just going to come with me. You can also think of your emotions like a friend. If your friend knocked on your door and said she was really sad, you wouldn't push her away and slam the door and say, I don't have time for this. You would open the door wide and welcome her in and ask her to sit down and show her love and compassion. That's what your emotions need from you. They need to be acknowledged and not judged. They need to receive compassion and not criticism. It's okay for you to feel how you're feeling. It's valid, and it won't last forever. Studies have shown that if we allow emotions, they only last about 90 seconds. But as we know, what we resist persists. So emotions can stick around for a good long while if we try those less effective strategies to get rid of them. I'm going to leave you with this thought. It's one of my favorite Brooke Castillo quotes. She says, "Discomfort is the currency of our dreams." The first time I heard that, I paused the podcast and wrote it down. Discomfort is the currency of our dreams. When we are willing to feel discomfort, to feel negative emotions, the world will be our oyster. The better you get at feeling emotions, the more expansive and amazing your life will become. You won't be held back by fear of rejection or embarrassment or failure. If you are up for it and open to experiencing all of those feelings, there isn't anything you won't be willing to try or any goal you won't be willing to put yourself out there to achieve. All of this applies to all humans, ones with concussions and ones without. So whether you're dealing with grief or loss or disappointment or frustration, anxiety or regret, the sooner you allow yourself to experience that emotion, the more expansive your life will become. Feel it to heal it. You've got this. I'm so glad you listened in today. I hope you have gained some helpful insights and inspiration regarding dealing with and recovering from concussions. My goal is to create more awareness and education about concussions and the fact that there is so much that can be done to improve life after someone has had one. Help me spread the message by liking, commenting, rating, and subscribing to this podcast, and share it with others who would benefit from hearing it. There are more resources available on my website. And again, if you or someone you love would benefit from concussion coaching, sign up for a free consultation using the link in the show notes or at my website, www.theconcussioncoach.com. Thank you. See you next time, and take good care of that amazing brain of yours.